Hello there, I'm Keel Saronin Beatmaker, and on this episode of the Monday Mindset, we're going to discuss Love Recognizes Needs, Part 2. You must always keep in mind that a path is only a path, and if you feel you must follow it, you must not stay with her under any circumstances. Any path is only a path. There is no affront to yourself or others, and dropping it, that is what your head tells you to do. But your decision to keep on the path, to leave it, must be free of fear or ambition. Don Juan. Love never gives direction. Fork knows that to lead a man off his path is to give him our path, which will never be truly right for him and is certain to weaken him. Dr. Leo. You must stay true to the path. You must stay true to yourself. You cannot allow love to dictate the life you live. You cannot be distracted by love. I know my words may seem a bit callous, but love is only there to amplify the life you live. It is not there to determine, nor is it there to pass judgment. Love is there to amplify the strength you already have in yourself, or you never knew you had to begin with. With such amplification comes a pep in your step as you stay true to the path and not distracted by the forks in the road. Love should never weaken a man. If love weakens a man, then it was never true love, only a succubus. Love should never take away from the man's path. Love must help clear away the occasional obstacles to extend an open hand when a man trips and falls upon his path. If love forces you on a fork of the path, you are subjecting yourself to humiliation, evaporation of self-esteem, and loneliness. No matter how good the love feels, it was never truly yours. No fork in the path is greater than the true path that was bestowed upon you. Never let love take the path away from you. Never let love weaken you. Love listens to its own needs. Dr. Leo. Love listens to its own needs. Will you follow or allow others to dictate so? How often do we find people in this world searching for their own needs in others, searching for their love in others, never listening to themselves? They have lost their identity by falling victim to the forks in the path, by giving in to the false reality, so they listen to love that lies. Those of us who stay true to the path and live in the essential reality have learned to listen to the love within. For we embrace the art of living. We embrace our paths. And for that, we listen. We listen to the needs of our love. As our love communicates and expresses itself within the essential reality, how else can our love find those who can amplify the love within? To share this love, you must first listen to the love within. Man must listen to his own drummer, or he will be marched right out of himself. Dr. Leo. As I like to say, and I said this earlier actually on Instagram, and I will read it to you. I said, many have lost their individuality. They have become placated with indoctrination. Within mass formation psychosis, they have lost what it means to be I. With such loss of self, isn't it no wonder that we find ourselves surrounded by degradation of what it means to be human? Many will find my words distasteful. Savor my word, as they are as sweet as the essential reality many deny themselves. I bring that up because it coincides with listening to your own drummer, I guess you could say. Because it coincides with what Dr. Leo here is saying. People are not listening to the rhythm of their own heart. And for that, you are finding people who are losing what it means to be I. They are marching out of themselves to a rhythm that will consume your identity within a hive mentality. You see this throughout the world. You see this throughout the social cults that are brewing and festering throughout our own country and the world. And people are losing their identity, forsaking it willingly in many regards for this psychosis, for complacency. People are losing what it means to be human in such complacency. Many are willingly subjecting themselves to this, and others are the drummers of such indoctrination. And it is a damn shame to see people just march right out of their individuality and into cult mentality. The last 2.5, 3 years, however you want to look at it. I say 3 years, but we'll save that for another time. You have seen the indoctrination. You have seen the complacency. You have seen people losing themselves in a rhythm of psychosis. It's impressive what the powers to be have been able to do. In such a short amount of time, people have lost what it means to be human. Seems like everyone is walking around with 2 left feet on the dance floor. I'm not much of a dancer myself. I keep it classy, 2-step, nothing more, nothing less. But I am a man of observation, and I am a man of my individuality. So I do not fall complacent or fall victim to such toxic rhythms of life that they want to impose upon us. I don't know why people are so willing to give up their own rhythm. Perhaps the world of the past could shed light on the future. But as I've been learning recently, the past is full of lies, orchestrated by lies, told in reverse. And I don't even know what to say to that. But what I do know what it means to me is that my individuality is allowing me to see the truth, the essential reality. The rhythm of my drum stays true, even as I maintain balance. But the balance is hard to maintain, as many would know, those who practice the art of living, those who still listen to the rhythm of their own heart, will appreciate my words, will celebrate my words. I don't take pride in what I say in the sense that I am better than anyone else. But it is frustrating and it's a damn shame to see this happening to us and to see people I've loved, to see people I could have loved, cared for, lose sight of themselves in such a dehumanizing way. And, and I think marching is such a appropriate word for the way some of these social cults are behaving, even those found within our own government. But it's hard to focus on mindfulness when this parasite is affecting everything. And if we are not mindful of our social and political climate, then you are nothing more than complacency. And I get it, it's hard, it's frustrating. Who's telling the truth when the rhythm is so out of tune and out of touch with the essential reality? So many people rather fall victim to the loop and live in this such indoctrination, foregoing individuality. And I mean individuality within a community. That is something that is powerful and strong and fundamental. A community of individuals united in similar goals and aspirations that are founded within a unified moral code of conduct. And there, each rhythm is its own, but the beat transcends individuality. And that is what I prescribe to. That is what I advocate for. And I could see the endless possibilities if we were to engage and live in such a world, to have such a mindset, to celebrate individuality, even within the cliques. And I don't have no shame or disrespect against cliques. We need groups. We need, the metalheads. We need the nerds. We need, the tough guys. We need all of that. It all needs to be balanced. And in my mind, I think we could all be each and one of those things. But I mean, in our own regard, we are living in a time of such weak, cuckold men. It's infuriating. And and bounded and harassed and castrated by such toxic feminine ideology. It's a damn shame. But what can we say? It's in the water. It's in the food they eat. It's in the music they play. It's in the movies they watch, the books they read, the schools they attend. They teach you, they advocate to drum out of yourself into the psychosis. To quote a very good book from my childhood named Feed, in their mind, everything must go. Everything must go. Everything must go. I don't want that for humanity. I don't want that for individuals. But that seems to be where we are heading if we continue to allow such parasites of the mind to continue to fester and envelop us. Many of us need to be cleansed mentally, emotionally, physically of such parasites by embracing our individuality. But it's taboo and it's not monetizable nowadays. There are no profits to be held in individuality. There are no profits to be held in the art of living. Because they fear a community of individuals. They fear the art of living, and they want you to dance away your freedoms. But the quote, Chicano Batman, freedom is free. And many seem to have forgotten that. Because they are educating us to believe that freedom was never ours to begin with. As things just keep on getting older, as we learn more and more about ancient civilizations, about ancient man, as mystery schools begin to reemerge, who says that there cannot be change? Who says that there cannot be a world of individuals? But the drum is out of tune. Mother Gaia is out of tune. And what does that mean for the individual who listens to the earth, listens to humanity? It's a dying breed, just like the gentleman, just like the fair lady. Dying breeds. You know, today I was been watching a docu-series on ancient Sparta and the value of individuality within the community, within the state of Sparta, was celebrated and amplified, whether man or woman. It was something that I began to realize could be highly beneficial in our world, especially now. A culture of men and women who celebrate individuality, who celebrate physicality within a healthy mind and body, of beauty and grace, but of violence as well. Justified violence, or violence for sport. In ancient Sparta, it's, as I listened, the feeling of the state. And, not trying to sound all nationalistic here, but I do believe and love America. But I think that is something that is lacking in this country, but it all comes par for the course in Sparta. And people may argue with me about this and say, well, you look at ancient Athens and they seem to pride individuality more so. But I would say no, especially since women were allowed to even be in public in ancient Athens. But in Sparta, women were allowed to be seen and respected, and women were expected to celebrate the state. In many ways, in ancient Sparta, women held the state accountable and held men accountable in protecting the state and maintaining the status quo of being great warriors, of being great men. We don't have that anymore, especially in Western society. We don't have drummers of support, encouragement, accountability. We don't have that anymore. Men are castaways. And that is something that I believe is also crucial in maintaining not only a unified country or a unified ideal, but a unified purpose in being human. Now, I bring up ancient civilizations and I bring up ancient Sparta because, like I said, we could value from the true teachings of our past. We have lost sight of that. Ancient civilizations, they understood the rhythm of life. They understood the rhythm of being human. For they knew the truth more so than others, more so than us. They practiced the truth. But we say now ignorance is bliss. And maybe so for them as well. None of them are around anymore. And some died of their own intelligence, of their own egos. But we can only say that for those whose stories we are able to listen to, the rhythms of such ancient civilizations. But I just think it's fascinating that the more advanced we get, the less civilized we seem to become. And I'm over here thinking we need to go back to the old ways. Maybe then people would have a more true appreciation for life. But we are living in the most safest time. So we cannot argue that. For men and women and children. Excuse me. But the rhythm of the drum, the rhythm of I, that is what is being taken from us. I'm no revolutionarius, but perhaps I may sound like one. I'm just a humble Ronin. Something many of us could do with understanding and learning. Appreciating the art of living, as I say. Because we are losing that. The rhythm of living, of true living. I'm still young, I'm still foolish, I'm still learning. As I put it, life is a continuing education unit. My medical field individuals will know what I speak of. But it is a good metaphor for life. One that I think we can all value from. And that's why I say that we must listen to the rhythm of the past, so we can better understand the rhythm of the future. Because right now it's out of tune and it's not sounding good. But I do have hope. As I like to put it, as the veil continues to lift, there are those who continue to awaken. There are more awakened individuals than the world likes to give credit for. As we walk around surrounded by NPCs, some of their own choosing, others have no control, and few are there to move the game along. Love listens to its own needs and appreciates its own uniqueness. As I said earlier, love listens to its own needs. Will you allow others to dictate so? We have forgotten what it means to be unique. And that falls in line with being I. For each individual on this planet is a unique person. Why? Because you made it through the crucible of birth. I don't think many people think about that. You made it. Out of all the little torpedoes, you hit the target and followed through. Not everyone can say that because they're not even here. And that is what makes it unique in and of itself. You know, my mom calls me her miracle baby because she struggled to have children and I was the only one that she was able to have. So for me, me being here is a miracle. Because had my mom not been able to, successfully have a child, I wouldn't be here. These words wouldn't have been spoken. And it's funny to think about. I don't know if anyone has ever taken that time to think about what the world would be like if they weren't here. And as insignificant as it may sound, you feel the profoundness of being grateful for being here to begin with. And maybe that's just me. Because I have gone back to appreciating my uniqueness. Like many others, I thought of myself and my uniqueness as a problem, an issue. It's so funny how we'd all have been bullied for our uniqueness by people who wish they could be like us. Because there are people in this world who don't have uniqueness, who don't have an individuality, either because they have given it up or they never had one to begin with. We've all met people who have no personality. Hell, some of you may be listening to this right now to develop one, and I applaud you. But the truth of the matter is that our uniqueness is what gives weight to this world. The uniqueness of so many historical figures is what allowed so many things to take in place, what allowed many philosophies to be birthed, many scientific discoveries. Their uniqueness, their unbalancedness, it all is important, you know? We wouldn't have m equals square or all that nonsense with our boy. Man, I'm drawing a blank right now on his name. Oh man, what's his name? I don't know why I'm thinking Isaac Newton, because it's not him. But even he was an interesting guy. Oh man, I can't believe I can't think of his name. Einstein, there we go. You know, granted, Einstein married his cousin, but we have to appreciate the uniqueness of the fact that if it wasn't for his intelligence and ingenuity, we wouldn't have the science that we have now. We wouldn't have many of the technologies that we have now. Granted, he married his cousin, but unique, right? How many of these great individuals have an odd history or fetish or ideals? Some good, some horrible. But their uniqueness in and of itself still gave way to many wonders and horrors that have shaped and educated this world and society. Without World War One, there were many technologies that probably would have never been actualized. Same with World War Two. I don't want to use war as an example, but I mean, with war comes advancements in technology. As unfortunate as that is, but we also have to be appreciative of the unique individuals who gave way to such technologies, who discovered such medical abilities in the chaos of war. But even now, where is the uniqueness in individuals? I don't see it. I just see 1,000 clowns. And what do we do then? Surrounded by clowns, all dancing to the same nonsensical rhythm. They shout and curse and throw stones and sticks at individuals, at uniqueness, as those who go against the grain. Fear of uniqueness. It's back in reverse. What a wild time to live in. But I still find it fascinating though, because there are people out there who still stay true, even within the cults. They are trying to save them, trying to cleanse them. Admirable, but foolish. There's only so long before you lose your uniqueness within that chaos. What does it Harvey Dent say? You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. How many people are walking around as villains? Unwilling to die in their uniqueness. Cowards. Fear is a mind killer. As those on Dune would say. Uniqueness. Without it, who are we? Ancient civilization, they appreciated that. Like I spoke earlier about Spartans, they appreciated the individual. As much as ancient Athens was progressive in their ideals, they did not appreciate the individual, such as the dangers of democracy, as we are seeing now. In some circles, such words would be considered treason. But what can I say? I'm a kinky fella. And my uniqueness is what allows me to speak such words. What say you out there? What say you? Are you maintaining your uniqueness? Are you staying true to the path? Or are you crawling through the forks? It's truly an inspiring and dangerous time to be alive. And I honestly am looking forward to see how it all plays out. And maybe that's because I have hope. Or maybe everything just keeps on getting weirder and I can't help but laugh and chuckle at all the wonderful, strange, and wild things that have been happening. Woo-wee. But I guess that's what makes it wonderful, to be unique, to be an individual, because you're able to look at everything in this world without falling victim to the indoctrination, without falling victim to the misinformation, disinformation. You see the world through the essential reality. It allows you to see all the games, all the players. And that's what's wonderful about our uniqueness in ourselves. Because we're all capable of such wonderful and amazing things. And the powers to be are suppressing our individuality. And the powers to be are hiding what greatness we could be. And listen, I'm one for advocating for uniqueness, for advocating for our individuality, because it is essential. How else are we supposed to evolve as a species, as a society, if we do not promote and advocate our uniqueness? And that is what I was saying earlier. But you see, when you appreciate and you live in your uniqueness, you love yourself. And that is something that is constantly being challenged by life, loving yourself. But it's easier when you embrace yourself. It's easier when you embrace the true self. It's easier to maintain those moments of loneliness. It's easier to find the trigger when we react unbalanced. And that is what I am talking about. That is what allows us to be unique. But as I said, that also requires active living. That also requires embracing the embryonic sac of your life. We don't want to do that. Not we, but society. Many people don't want to do that, and I understand why. The ego death is not a pretty sight to have. And many don't wish to want to experience so. I understand. To come out on the other side, it's one hell of a trip. But I advocate for the self, not the ego. I've had my ego death, and I may have it again and again. And I embrace it wholeheartedly. Just as much as I embrace my uniqueness, just as much as I love myself because I listen to myself. Even when those moments are hard to listen and I don't want to, I still actively listen. And I take it all in. And I learn from it. And I move forward. And we are all capable of such abilities. But we have to want it. And many don't. They don't want that. They don't want the ego death because they are comfortable in the ego. They are comfortable in the false reality. They are comfortable in the hive. Why? Because you don't stand out. No one sees you. Many people don't want to be seen. Yet they damn sure well want to be heard. You want to be heard, but you don't want to be seen. Please, cut your own tongue out and spare us your ignorance. Tough words, but we need toughness. We need people to express themselves wholeheartedly. That is why I celebrate my individuality, because I speak my words truthfully and honestly. And if I am wrong, I will hold myself accountable and I will admit when I am wrong. And those are great moments because it's a learning experience. As I say, I live life as a lesson learned. Because I love myself. And because I love myself, I'm able to live life. Even when I'm down, I still live. Because I live for the grateful things that I have. I live for the chance to be alive. Because how unique is that? We got the opportunity to walk this earth. And that is a gift in and of itself. The chance to show off your uniqueness in a manner that inspires, that guides, that enlightens, that thrives, and brings laughter and joy and love to the world, to your community. And I know it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. It never was meant to be. And I value and appreciate that. For those moments when life is challenging, I look at it as a test and a challenge of my resolve. Can I maintain the true self? And I can always wake up with my head held high, knowing that I always stay true to myself, even in the darkest of times. And that is a unique ability in and of itself that any of you can grasp and master forever. Because in the art of living, you're never truly a master. You're always a student. Because the goal in the art of living is to master being the student. That is how one loves oneself. That is how one listens to oneself. That is how one appreciates oneself. Each man is his own leader, never reflects the giver. Dr. Leo. The art of walking alone. A skill many individuals have completely lost. They have given in to the loss of individuality and have given in to the tribe mentality. They have lost themselves in mass formation psychosis, allowing the cult of personality to take control of their identity, dare I say, their soul. They have lost the will to love themselves, for many of them never had it to begin with. They sought out love in the many parasitic hives that corrupt this earthly plane, stripping people of their individuality by stripping away what it means to be human, what it means to be alive. Replaced with a parasite that drains the individual of their soul to such an extent that the delusion becomes a reality, foregoing the essential reality for complacency, indoctrination, and the illusion of the false reality. The false reality that strips you of your love for oneself, your love for humanity, your love for the meaning of I. Look around you, all of you. Look at the false reality they continue to force upon you with threats to strip away your individuality, your freedom of consent, the knowledge of informed consent, what it means to be a woman, what it means to be a man, what it means to be human. How can society deem this love? How dare the governments call it love? Have we forgotten that the strongest communities are built upon the backs of individuals who call upon a shared dream, a shared idea, a shared purpose in living? What love has a society given you? what love has its government reflected upon you? I ask you to ask yourself. The love you have given willingly via indoctrination through Stockholm Syndrome. Look at what it has brought to your mind, to your body, to your soul, to the art of living. As they dare to inject their poison into the very gods they deny us to be. They don't love you. They never will. They wish to strip you of your love as a hive strips the guardian of their light. To feed upon the very foundations of what it means to be human. Strip us of the identity so as to hide a very evil that lives within their empty vessels of bones and flesh. Rotting from the inside out of malcontent, of degradation and succubus mentality. Truly, is this the love you wish to reflect? Is this the love you wish? Those who embrace the art of living deny such rhetoric. Embrace humanity. Embrace the living soul. They are not afraid of such evil, for they live in the essential reality. And such love can never be corrupted by darkness, for such darkness is a delusion and not our shadow. For a shadow follows and guides the leader. As such, it dictates the art of living. I call upon the armies of true self. Awaken within. Become the leaders of individuality. Love, then, recognize needs, physical and emotional. It sees as well as looks, listens as well as hears. Love touches, fondles, and reveals in sexual gratification. Love is free and cannot be realized unless it is left free. Love finds its own path, sets its own pace, and travels in its own way. Love recognizes and appreciates its uniqueness. Love needs no recognition, for it reflects, it is recognized. It is not true love at all. Dr. Leo. I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Monday Mindset. To learn more about myself and how you can support The Monday Mindset, head over to my Patreon page at Ronin Art and Music. That's Ronin Art and Music. If you're interested in reaching out, follow me on social media, on Twitter, Ronin Art and Music, or at me at Kios Ronin, KioosRonin. On Instagram, follow me at RoninArt_music. And if you prefer to email, hit me up at themondaymindset009@gmail.com. That's themondaymindset009@gmail.com. And that is all lowercase. If you're listening to this on your preferred streaming service, please make sure to subscribe. If you're listening on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment and a review, and slap that notification bell. On Apple Podcasts, please make sure to subscribe, rate the podcast, and leave a review, as this will help me and the podcast grow. Stay positive, stay focused, stay true, and much love.